Hey, Mrparka here to review a new one from Synapse, a 1964 movie made in Brazil, the first Coffin Joe movie. At midnight, I'll take your soul. Surprisingly, I had never seen these movies. I'd always heard about them, I was always interested in them, and finally, I got a chance to check it out thanks to Synapse, and yeah. It's the first trilogy. I haven't had a chance to watch the other ones, but they were followed by Tonight I'll Possess Your Corpse and Embodiment of Evil, which is made years and years later. But yeah, these are presented on DVD because I believe it was the best possible quality they could do. I think the elements were too messed up to try to do the scan for Blu-ray. That's my understanding what happened. The features on here include a short film and an interview about the making of, and kind of a recreation of one of the scenes shot in the last few years by the director, which is all kind of fun, cool stuff. But yeah, let me get into the film. This one is definitely an interesting piece of cinema, especially it's considered, like on the back it says, the first horror film from Brazil. And when I put this one in, it really felt like Brazil's answer to the Universal horror movies, which I really thought was cool. And it manages to actually capture some of that iconic feel that like a Dracula or Frankenstein would. And I think that is due to, in part, because the director of the film also plays Coffin Joe, and he's just a very iconic character. He has this this tall hat, these long nails, a menacing laugh, and almost everything that comes out of his mouth is very quotable. I was listening to the quotes he was saying in this, while reading them actually and listening to him, and just a lot of very memorable stuff in here that I really enjoyed. Like, I just would smile during half the dialogue. I thought it was really cool, the stuff he would say to people. To be honest, this movie feels kind of like a Western at points, because he's in this small town, and he's like an atheist, but he also has these kind of like almost like not like almost feels like he has satanic powers at the same time. He looks down on people with this kind of a religious, like, he hates the religious, superstitious people and everything, and he looks down at them. He says man should, just have power and everything, and blood is everything in life, and he just has no sympathy. He basically goes through these people and he treats them like crap. He's also the mortician, so he has this like very scary presence about him. He's very intimidating to people, and he's highly aggressive. His main goal is to find a woman who can give him the perfect child. So that's pretty much how the movie starts off, and eventually he has to kill some people to get his way. Sometimes he kills them in very gothic ways. Again, it has that kind of like that gothic universal feel to it. It does push its boundaries, especially with the religious stuff, and it's a little bit more graphic than that. Also is made 1964, but I imagine that the Universal stuff was still playing in theaters there at this time. But yeah, it's a really cool, interesting movie. They managed to do a really nice small town feel. The atmosphere is pretty solid, and the gypsy and everything in here. I enjoy the movie. I think it's a pretty cool piece of film history. I think it's very noteworthy to people that like oddball cinema or Universal cinema or foreign cinema in general. And I think it's a really cool, iconic character that I actually had never seen. And I think he's memorable, and I think no wonder he had two sequels to complete a trilogy. And he popped up in some other ones as well. But it's an interesting, cool movie, and I think that a lot of people will enjoy it. It's At Midnight I'll Take Your Soul. It is in black and white, but this is my first introduction with the films. I'm not an expert on the guy or anything, but I think it's an interesting, like I said, it's one of those that's more important than it is good, but it is still actually pretty cool as well. It's definitely like this long lost iconic like monster character that I had actually never watched. But yeah, I'm looking forward to checking out the other ones. I'm Mrparka. Thank you very much for watching, and have a good one.
Ah!